All right, let's jump right into a really classic story from the Lotus Sutra. It's this timeless parable, all about human potential. And really, it all comes down to one single powerful question. So think about this for a second. What if that huge goal you've been working towards, the one you've dedicated everything to, what if that peak you thought you were climbing was actually just base camp? Just the starting point for a way bigger journey? That's the question that's right at the heart of this whole story. Okay, so our story kicks off with this guy named Purna. Now, Purna isn't just any disciple of the Buddha. Nope, he is celebrated as the absolute best, the number one guy when it comes to sharing the teachings.
And, this isn't just some casual compliment. The Buddha makes it super clear that Purna's dedication is, well, it's vast. It spans countless lifetimes. We're talking about service to 90 billion past Buddhas. I mean, he is the absolute gold standard of what a disciple should be.
So for this unbelievable dedication, Purna gets the ultimate reward, a prophecy. He's told that one day, way off in the distant future, he himself is going to achieve perfect enlightenment. He'll become a Buddha, and his name will be Dharma Brightness. So what does that future even look like? Well, the text gives us this absolutely stunning vision of the Buddha land that Purna is going to be in charge of one day. It's basically a perfect, ideal reality. Seriously, try to picture this. A world where the ground itself is made of precious treasures. There are no dangers, no evil paths anywhere. The beings there, they're born from pure transformation, totally free from worldly desires, and they live on just two things, the joy of wisdom and the bliss of meditation. It's just a realm of pure peace and enlightenment. Pretty amazing, right? Okay, so as you can imagine, seeing this incredible prophecy given to Purna, the other disciples, who are these really accomplished spiritual practitioners called arhats, they start to feel something superhuman, a little flicker of hope, and they start to wonder, hey, what about us? And of course, the Buddha, being all-knowing, totally picks up on their unspoken question. He knows exactly what they're hoping for, that same kind of recognition. So he turns to them, ready to grant their wish.
And then he makes this just stunning announcement. Not to one, not to two, but to 500 of them. He prophesies that every single one of them will also become a Buddha one day. And they'll all share the same name, Universal Brightness.
So you'd think this would be party time, right? Pure celebration. And for a second, it is. The disciples are absolutely overjoyed. But then, almost immediately, that joy just evaporates and turns into something totally different. This deep, profound regret. They confess that they've made a huge, terrible mistake. And in their own words, they lay it all out. They explain that they honestly thought they had already reached the finish line. They'd achieved this state of enlightenment they called final extinction. They were content, But now they see it was just a small measure of wisdom. And this is really the central puzzle here. I mean, why on earth would you regret achieving what you thought was your ultimate goal? So to try and explain this massive error, they tell a story. It's a simple little parable, but it perfectly captures their misunderstanding. And honestly, this little story is the key that unlocks this whole teaching. So here's how the parable goes. You've got this poor man, and he goes to visit his super wealthy friend. After a night of, let's say, celebrating, he passes out cold. His friend has to leave on some urgent business, but he really wants to help him out. So he secretly sews a priceless jewel right into the lining of his sleeping friend's robe. Well, the guy wakes up, has no idea he's now carrying a fortune, and leaves. For years, he wanders around, struggling, just barely scraping by. But here's the thing, he's kind of content with his meager life. Then, totally by chance, the rich friend runs into him again, and he's just shocked. He's like, "You fool, what are you doing? All this time you've been living in poverty, but I gave you a priceless jewel years ago. It's been in your robe this whole time." And as you can imagine, the guy is just completely stunned. He finally realizes he was rich all along. So, what in the world does this simple story about a forgotten jewel have to do with these super accomplished monks? Well, everything. It's a perfect, direct metaphor for their entire spiritual journey. All right, let's just break this down. It's pretty straightforward. The poor man in the story, that's the disciples. The rich friend, that's the Buddha. Those small earnings he was content with, that represents the lesser goal of arhatship they had achieved. And that priceless jewel, well, that's the innate potential for complete Buddhahood that they had inside them the whole time, without ever even knowing it. This is their big aha moment. They finally get it.
The Buddha had planted this seed of ultimate potential within them ages ago, but they just forgot. They got distracted and they settled for a lesser goal. They were exactly like the man who had no idea there was a jewel sewn into his own robe.
And this is the really crucial takeaway here. It's not that their achievement was worthless. Not at all. Their regret was about stopping there. See, they had mistaken a milestone for the final destination, all while being completely unaware of this far greater treasure they were already carrying with them. And that brings us right back to the question we started with, doesn't it? This ancient story, it's not really just about monks from thousands of years ago. It's a mirror for all of us. It forces us to ask ourselves, what incredible potential, what priceless jewel might you be carrying right now, completely unaware while you settle for just enough to get by?